Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So today we're going to react to Geography Now, the Philippines.
She's actually from the Philippines. I am not, but it'll kind of be a test for you to see if you know most of this stuff.
I know, I don't know much about the Philippines actually.
Yeah, I don't know much about it either, so I'm intrigued to learn more about it. But let's watch it.
Let's do it.
If you don't know anything about Asia, the Philippines is like the jolliest of them all. They're just happy, fun, jolly people. And
You know what?
I can tell from her.
I'm not
She's
taking
very happy and jolly.
pushed
Yep.
around, I've been threatened, I've been thrown in the dungeon, I've been the butt of all the jokes. I'm the Filipino one. This is my time.
What?
Ah! Welcome to the Philippines. My turn.
okay.
Oh, does that mean he's doing it?
Maybe.
Hey everyone, I'm Ken, and as you know, I'm half Filipino. Years ago, I was looking for a job and I saw this ad asking for a motion graphics animator on Craigslist. Paul and I literally met up at a Jollibee for my interview. He said I was his top 3 candidates.
In reality, there were
Jollibee? We want to actually go to Jollibee quite bad.
I want her to try Jollibee.
Yeah, I didn't even know what it was until she came here.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's like, we have to go to Jollibee. I'm like, what's Jollibee? And she's like, oh, it's either in Canada or Chicago. I'm like, that's so far, but maybe that can be a future video when we have enough time to travel
Yep.
to one of those 2 destinations. Honestly, I feel like Canada might be closer.
I want to go to Canada so
Yeah,
bad.
that'd be so fun.
candidates that applied, so technically I didn't lie, but yeah, the other 2 people kind of sucked, so yeah.
Oh, and back then, I had this weird mustache and Paul's hair
Oh.
was basically this thing.
Ken and I have been talking for a long time, and we agreed Ken definitely has to be in this episode. You've come so far from that Craigslist Jollibee interview, you've earned this.
Thanks. Handa na, magsimula.
Did you know that?
The Philippines is an
Tagalog,
interesting
yeah.
country because
Oh,
there's sort of
really?
a dichotomy between labels.
You just
If
said,
you
let's
ask a
go
Filipino
start.
if they consider themselves Asian or Pacific Islanders, you might get contrasting answers.
What do you consider yourself, Ken?
I always thought Pacific Islanders sounded kind of cool, so I usually stick with that. So first of all,
The Philippines
What
is
do
a
you
tropical
consider yourself?
archipelago of over 7,000 islands.
Filipino.
And it is the largest island nation without any land borders or shared island territory with another nation.
the country is located in Southeast Asia, straddling the Philippine Sea in the north, the South China Sea in the west, and the Sulu and Celebes Sea in the south.
Just to skip away lies the island of Borneo, which is split amongst 3 nations. At the closest point, only about 22 miles or 40 kilometers away from the nearest island that belongs to the Philippines.
Now, in general, many people will refer to one of the 3 main island cluster regions that people are a part of. There are Luzon in the north, where you can find the capital Manila, and where the half of the population lives, Visaya in the center,
Yeah, you've been to Manila before, right?
Yeah, I lived there for 4 years or 5
Oh,
years.
dang. And then
Yep.
where'd you live before that?
Mindanao
Oh, where's that?
is the other part of the it's like Luzon and then Visayas and then Mindanao.
Oh.
Yeah.
and Mindanao in the south.
Otherwise, the nation is
There
made
you
up
go.
of
Oh,
17 regions,
did he just
one of
say
which
it?
is autonomous, the
Yeah.
Bangsamoro Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao. This place has a high level of self-rule and autonomy appointed by the government. We'll explain more about this later.
If you want to be absolutely technical, Quezon City, a bit north of Manila, is the largest city in the Philippines. However, the surrounding 16 towns and
Oh.
cities by Manila are called Manila Metro, or the National Capital Region, and they basically act as one unit.
Otherwise, the largest city outside of the NCR are Davao City in Mindanao and Cebu in the Visayas.
Manila has the
Ooh, that
largest and
looks so
busiest
pretty.
airport, Ninoy Aquino
It is
International
pretty there.
Airport, which is basically the hub that services the entire NCR. They also have the busiest shipping port at the Port of Manila.
Otherwise, the second largest airport is Cebu Mactan International, and rounding out for third place is Davao City Francisco Bangoy International.
In terms of land transport, though, the Philippines is well connected amongst the islands. In fact, the longest highway is the Pan-Philippine Highway that stretches about 3,500 kilometers across
Oh
the country.
my
and connects
gosh.
It's
Luzon,
so
Samar, Lian,
large.
and Mindanao
That's
with underground tunnels
crazy.
connecting them.
Finally, the Philippines has only 2 territorial disputes. The state of Sabah in Malaysia on North Borneo. The territory once had been part of the Sultanate of Sulu, a Muslim state that existed the 15th century to the 20th century, and that's a whole other story.
Oh.
As for the others dispute, as we mentioned quite a few times already, this whole area known as the Spratly Islands is a complete mess. If you don't know anything about this place, it basically goes like this.
Yeah, it's pretty
Crazy. Okay.
This is the map showing what everyone claims in the area. This big one right here is China's. Like, yeah, they just kind of pretty much went for all of it.
This has even led to a
Oh,
few skirmishes
what?
between nations that have built patrol stations on the island. And when they spot a ship that gets too close, things can get kind of ugly.
It's kind of like this.
Oh my
Hey, what are you
gosh.
doing? This is my area.
I'm just doing some fishing and research here, you know?
Why do you have a shovel then? Are you building something? Or?
Well, technically, there's no land protruding from this reef, so there's no land claim.
So you're just gonna build your own land.
For research.
Anyway,
Yeah.
here's some local spots of
What?
interest.
Fort Santiago.
Interesting.
Magellan's
I
Cross,
know.
San Agustin Church.
Sagada Hanging
Oh, that's pretty.
Coffins,
Aguilando Shrine.
Cebu's Philippine Taoist Temple,
Oh,
Shrine of
have
Mama
you been to
Mary
any
in
of these
Tagaytay.
places?
the Lapu-Lapu
Been to
Shrine,
Cebu.
Neta Park.
Oh.
Landing Site,
Banawi Rice Terraces.
the
Not
Mount
there.
Wow.
Palace,
Vigan has many historical and colonial
I've never been
the
there.
various national museums of history and arts,
tons of amusement parks.
and that's not even including all the natural wonders of
You
the
would love
Philippines. They
amusement
have
parks.
an underground river.
Hell
The most
no.
amazing, beautiful
I've been
beaches
there,
in the
Boracay.
universe.
It's so
Oh,
pretty.
cute there.
And there's an island in a lake, in an island, in a lake, in an island.
Mhm.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, when you have 7,000 tropical islands on a volcanic archipelago, chances are things can get pretty crazy landscape-wise. Which brings us to... The actual physical land of the Philippines is the biggest treasure you will find here for sure. Anyway, the Philippines lies on the Ring of Fire and is specifically on a tectonic plate named after them, the Philippine Plate.
And about
Oh, Philippine
95% of the
plate.
land is made up of the 11 largest islands.
The country was essentially formed through the tectonic activity between the Philippine, Manila, and the Mindanao Trenches, the Mindanao being the second deepest in the world.
Oh,
This
wow.
makes the
Yeah, it
country
is so
susceptible to
large.
small earthquakes
Gosh.
and minor volcanic activity.
Scary.
About 53 active volcanoes can be found in all of these largest islands, except for Palawan. The most famous and picturesque of these
I would live
include
there
these
if
three.
possible
See this
then.
island here, Camiguin?
I don't
It
wanna
actually
live by
has more
volcano.
volcanoes than towns on it. 7 versus 5. making
I
it the
love
place with the
Camiguin.
most number of volcanoes
That's
per
where I
square
wanna live.
kilometer in the
7?
world.
In fact, the tallest peak in the Philippines is a potentially active volcano, Mount Apo, located in the South Mindanao area.
The country has numerous mountain ranges and highlands that dip into the fertile valleys, the largest range being the Cordillera Range in the North Luzon area, hooking into the Sierra Madre Range on the east side, which feeds the longest river of the country, the Cagayan, that flows into the Cagayan Valley.
This valley, along with the Central Luzon Valley, are the largest arable croplands and produce nearly all of the rice in the Philippines.
The Visayas are known for growing
yummy.
sugarcane, whereas Mindanao specializes heavy in coconut and fruit production.
Back in Luzon, you
Yum.
can find the largest lake in the country, Lake Laguna de Bay, which is actually in the caldera of a dormant volcano.
The lake has a weird
Oh,
detached island
okay.
called Talim and is actually drained by the Pasig River that flows through the capital.
Oh, I
Manila.
didn't
And finally,
know
the
that.
country is the heart of typhoon territory. They can come at almost
It is.
any time of the year. The nation
This is
will
a
experience
problem.
on
That's
average about
scary.
20 of the turbulent storms annually, which often flood to their many river systems. But yeah, if anything, Filipinos are the most cyclone-adapted people on Earth. They're used to it. The water has always
That's
been kind of their thing.
terrifying.
Swimming, sailing, fishing.
Just not exactly quite diving into it.
Otherwise, the Philippines is one of the 17 mega diverse nations on Earth.
They actually have the largest
Oh,
marine
cute.
biodiversity in the world within their waters and the highest rate of animal discovery on the planet,
Oh.
with 16
It's so
mammal species
cute.
that were discovered in the past decade alone.
They have everything from
The longest snake in the world, the
Did you get to see a lot of these animals where you lived, or not as much where you lived?
Not as much as
Oh.
I live. I've seen those, like the tarsier, the first one he showed. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like it's so tiny. You have to go in a specific place to see it actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's like normally roaming around where you are?
Snake?
Like that? Like that big?
No, not that big.
Oh gosh. that's
Maybe
good.
there's some area that get that big, but they're mostly in the zoo. But
That's terrifying.
I know. But yeah, you
So
walk
they're-
outside and then you can just see a snake.
Oh my gosh. Do you see any other animals or just snakes mostly?
Just a bird, not much. Just normal ones like the dog and the cats.
Dogs are not normal to see here roaming around. They're like pets though, not strays.
Oh, 'cause there's a lot of stray animals.
Yeah.
Like dog, I mean, and cats in the Philippines. That's the problem in there. There's so much.
Yeah, here where we live, I don't think I've ever seen a stray dog, honestly. Ever.
Yeah, I've never seen it here too.
And like we're pretty good about what are they called? Animal shelters. They pick them up.
That's so
But,
nice. I
yeah.
wish we have that in the Philippines because there's a lot of stray dogs in there and cats, and I feel bad about them because
Yeah, but then they just sit in a cage. So it's like pick and choose your battles, like cage or like roaming free outside.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know. Like, where my parents have a dogs and then cats, but the dogs, they just lock them up in a chain because it go. Because where my parents live is like close to the highway. So they just chain them up because it will go to the highway and then get hit by a truck. So it died. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like at that point, is it better to be a stray or better to, I don't know.
I don't know.
Articulated python.
The largest fish in the world, whale sharks.
7 of the 8
What
known
the-
species of giant clam are found
Yeah.
in the Philippines.
The world's smallest hoofed animal, the Philippine mouse
Oh,
deer.
What?
National
I
bird,
gosh,
largest
it's so
eagle in the
cute.
world.
Economically speaking, the Philippines is considered a newly industrialized nation. It is transitioning out of becoming an agricultural-based system to a service and manufacturing-based one. They have like 3 of the top 10 largest malls on Earth.
Yes, there's a lot of
I'm
more in the
taking
Philippines.
top spot soon.
They're one of the fastest growing economies in Asia, and as the 34th largest economy in the world, their GDP
Oh,
purchasing
wow.
power parity has surpassed the $2 trillion mark.
Basically, the Philippines is definitely becoming a key power player in the world stage. It's like,
We're so rich!
someday. For what it's worth though, mining, fishing, and agriculture are strong industries as well. They are currently the world's largest nickel and abaca or Manila hemp producers and the second largest coconut producer after
Yes.
Oh,
Philippines.
coconut,
Tourism,
yummy.
though, is another important
That poor
industry,
horse,
taking
though.
up about
I
8%
know.
of GDP, employing over 3 million people.
And now, food. Now in the Philippines, every
Yeah.
region has their own specialty and culinary strange.
Yeah, every dish looks like a fairy exploded.
Lots of dishes you could eat kumakain kamay or eat with your hands.
Yeah, pretty much everything has
Yes.
rice, and then you're gonna get a lot of grease and salt and vinegar and a lot of like, I don't care if that looks like it goes there or
Literally
not,
what
I'm still
you
gonna
eat.
it
Yep.
anyway. Right, Ken?
Yeah, that's Filipino food.
Yeah.
There's really no official national dish, but 3 meals that are well known for are adobo, lumpia, and sinigang.
And in the non-Muslim parts,
Speaking of adobo, I can make you that one day.
Yummy. What is it? What one was it? The second one, the noodles?
No, it's chicken.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'd be yummy. I've never tried any Filipino meals. She hasn't cooked me any. How mean.
I know, I should cook her one day and then we can make a video about it.
I've been doing a lot of American meals for her. I don't know how she likes them, but some of them she likes, some of them she's like, what is this? This is disgusting.
No, I don't say that.
You can just tell. No, she's like, oh, it's yummy. But you can tell from her
It-
face. It's like,
No, it's good. I'm just not used to it.
yeah. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's understandable. Oh gosh, that
Lechon
poor
is a huge
pig.
There are
Yeah, that's
also dishes like
lechon.
Tagalog steak,
tinola,
pansit luglug,
kare-kare,
sigsig,
tapsilog,
balut,
kinilaw.
and my favorite Filipino
yummy.
dish, palabok. Just put some nice little lemon juice on it. I actually got this at Jollibee. If you don't know what Jollibee is, it's like the most popular fast food
Jollibee.
chain in the Philippines. It's like if
Yes.
McDonald's and KFC adopted a Filipino baby, and they even added spaghetti to their menu for some reason.
Otherwise,
Spaghetti?
Filipinos are dessert
Yeah, there's a
experts. They love
spaghetti.
their ube.
Is it
Ube
good?
ube ice cream,
It is
ube
sweet.
Oh, ube. You have showed me that. I really want to try it.
Maybe one day.
I know.
bread, ube pie, ube cakes.
They also have like sapin,
That's so
sapin, and
good.
asado
Oh, I love
cake.
that
Those
thing.
are the best desserts in my opinion.
They also have halo-halo, leche flan, turon, bukok pandan, and puto. What you
I've seen so many of these desserts and like foods from what you like sent me. Halo
Uh-huh.
halo.
Yes, halo. That's the famous dessert in the Philippines.
And like a lot of tapioca things I see you eat.
Yeah, I love those.
They look so good. I love tapioca also.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make tapioca or halo halo?
It's just like a shaved ice, and then you put a lot of fruits in it, and then put
Oh,
like a milk, and that's it. I think
that sounds yummy.
it is yummy.
Yeah.
We could buy ingredients at the Asian store, but it's so expensive. I've been there, and
Oh,
it's so
really?
expensive. Yeah, I was like, oh, I could like make those like. It's so cheap in the Philippines, but here it's like you
Yeah.
need to spend like $30 just to make it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Actually, we're not making that. Just kidding.
You can just try when we go to the Philippines.
Yeah. Who knows? I'm scared about how long that flight will be, but that actually sounds so fun. I'll just have to sleep the whole time.
You have to. That's like how my flight going here? Oh my
Yeah.
god, that was so long. It's like 24 hours flight. I've been sleeping the whole time. That's crazy.
Did you call me? If you're either Latin American or Spanish, you may notice some of those foods are also found in Latin cuisines. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah, we'll explain that in.
Now, only in the Philippines can you find people that have Spanish names, speak English, celebrate an Austronesian culture, and cook Chinese.
General MacArthur once said,
Interesting.
"Give me 1,000
Yeah.
Filipino soldiers and I will conquer the world."
Yeah, for some reason, Filipinos are like the best friends of Asia. Filipinos still have the best attitudes and smiles. They even give time off felony sentences if the prisoners volunteer to take part in a Michael Jackson dance performance to the public.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. First, the graph. The country has about 110 million people and is the 8th
That's
most populated country in Asia
Yes.
and the 12th most populated country in the world.
There are about 175 ethno-linguistic people groups in the Philippines, the majority of whose languages are Austronesian.
Of these groups, the largest ones are the Tagalog at about 28%, 13% are Cebuano, 9% are Ilocano, and 8% are Bisaya. The rest are made up of other groups plus a small minority of non-native
Oh,
citizens,
dang,
mostly Asians
42?
and Americans.
It's important to note, though, that the Philippines has about 10.2 million people overseas worldwide. It is one of the largest diaspora populations, spanning over 100 countries. The U.S. alone has about 4 million.
I mean, they were at one point colonized
A lot.
by the US, so go figure.
They use the Filipino peso as their currency, they use the types A, B, and C plug outlets, and they drive on the right side.
All of them.
Oh, and keep in mind the word Pinoy is synonymous with something that is Filipino. You might see that used a lot.
Now back to the ethnic groups thing. Since there are over 175 of them, you would think, how do they all communicate?
Well, the Philippines has two official languages. English, which makes them the 5th most English-speaking nation on earth, and
Oh, that's
Filipino, which
nice.
is the standardized version of Tagalog.
Yeah.
The Philippine Tagalog language spoken today is a very different from pure Tagalog. It actually has about 14% Spanish, 10% Malay, and 7% English mixed into it with a slew of other borrowed loanwords. You can see the
Oh,
influence in
really?
words like pintelador,
Maybe.
zapatos, and
Yeah,
patio.
that's true.
Often,
Yes,
Filipinos
yes.
will substitute an F with a P
Or a V with a B.
or a V with
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. High five with minimal consonants.
Yay!
Oh, and fun fact, Ken taught me this. In Tagalog, you can actually say an entire conversation just using the syllable ba. For example,
Ba 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 ba.
Yeah, they're like
ba ba.
ba.
repeating.
Really?
Well, that was
Yeah.
fun. Otherwise, in the Visayas and Mindanao area, Cebuano is a common language.
That's
as well as the other
confusing to
regional
me.
tongues like Waray and Daboeno.
They even have the only Spanish-based Creole in Asia, Chavacano, located in Zamboanga City. Now, the Philippines is
Yeah.
unique in that over a past few centuries, they've gone through 3 periods that shaped their identity.
Before European intervention, the Philippines has had a multitude of early civilizations that built kingdoms and dynasties like the Tondo, the Namayan, the Pangasinan, and the Sulu Sultanate.
Many of these kingdoms had their own indigenous writing system, such as the Babayan, Buhid, Eskayan, and Kulitan.
Genetically, Filipinos are classified
I
as one
know
of the
those.
broader Austronesian people group, with their closest cousins being the Micronesians, like the Mariana Islanders, Guam, and Palau.
Although over the years, many people have mixed, and today it is speculated that somewhere around 1/5 or more of the population may have some kind of
Oh,
Chinese ancestry.
really?
After the Spanish came in, they adopted many of the customs, traditions, and cultural traits which have Spanish roots. Their own country is named after Spanish King Philip. The biggest trait, though, would be the fact that they are predominantly Catholic, at about 81% of the population.
Yep.
Really?
The rest
Yeah,
are
it
mostly
is.
Protestant, with
I've heard it's quite Catholic there.
It's what?
I've heard it's quite Catholic there.
Yeah, it's like religious country.
Yeah.
a small Muslim minority in the South Mindanao area.
The Philippines is the largest Christian nation in Asia, 5th largest Christian nation on earth, and 3rd largest Catholic nation after Brazil and Mexico.
They have so many holidays and
Dang.
festivals devoted to Catholic themes like All Saints Day, Holy Week, and Easter, and of course, the largest one, Christmas.
The Philippines has the longest Christmas
Oh,
season out of anywhere
Christmas.
else on earth.
Okay, so now we're just gonna rapid fire a list of 12 fun cultural facts for the Philippines.
Filipinos have a ton of superstitions. For example, whistling at
Yes.
night will turn you into a werewolf.
For formal occasions, you may say
Oh, what is yours?
It's the like
Walk-
aswang.
walk.
Walk walk. Or aswang.
I've heard her walk walk, cause isn't that where they steal your baby?
Yeah, they ate like babies.
My sister's pregnant and she's like, oh, hopefully the walk walk won't get or something. Something got brought up with walk walk and I was like, what is that? I've never heard of that. And then she told us it.
Yeah.
But what's the other one?
I don't know. This
What'd you say? It was like wah something.
like a ghost or what?
No, what you were just saying.
Oh, aswang.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the same. It's just aswang and wakwak. That's the same.
Oh,
Yes.
interesting.
Filipinos wearing traditional barongs for men and Maria Clara or mestiza dresses for women.
There are many
Oh,
other
those are
traditional
pretty.
costumes
Yes.
and customs for the other 170 ethnic groups. Too many to cover, but it goes everywhere from feathers, coconut fibers, hair dresses, tribal tattoos, and so on.
Speaking of which, the Philippines dominates major international beauty pageants with a grand total of 15 victories at the Miss Universe, Miss World.
I
Miss
mean, look
International,
at them.
Miss
They're
Earth
gorgeous.
Basketball and
Yep,
boxing
they
are the
are.
most popular sport by far. They have the oldest basketball league in Asia and the second oldest in the world after the United States. And come on, we all know Pacquiao.
The Philippines is the leading nation to train and export nurses abroad. It's been said at one point,
Oh, you've said that before.
Yeah.
every Filipino has their should I just drop everything and become a nurse moment in their life crisis.
That's a fact. I've had those. And the word Blik Bayan means returner or returning family. It is used when someone comes back from expat work abroad.
You might hear the honorific title of Po or Opal for elders, and a lot of people often raise the backs of the hands of their elders to their forehead as a sign of respect and say, bless.
In the Philippines, you
Yes.
have your name and you have your Pinoy nickname, and they get really weird and creative. Pepsi, Bing Bong, Jelly Boy, Pinky, Bum Bum, and Earl.
Every Filipino on every island in every region can tell you Filipinos are obsessed with karaoke. The first karaoke machine was actually
Do you like
patented by a
karaoke?
Filipino, Roberto
Not
Some
much.
Japanese dude invented it, but he
I don't really like sing because I'm shy.
I love karaoke.
It's
But-
actually fun, but the most annoying thing is like from where I live, my parents' town. Oh gosh, like the Filipino, like our neighbor just karaoke all night.
Oh, really?
Sometimes they start at 3 p.m. and then they will be like so loud all night
Oh my
until 1 a.m.
gosh.
and you just want to sleep.
I would go bang on the door and be like, "It's too late for this. Wrap it up. Come on, wrap it up."
I guess there's just no curfew or what.
Yeah, at like bars or like restaurants, they do like karaoke night sometimes
Uh-huh.
here. I think that'd be fun to go to, but also very embarrassing.
I know.
Like, I could not imagine singing in front of a bunch of people. I would do it as a joke more so because I have a horrible voice.
He
Gosh.
patented it.
Obviously, that means music is a big deal in the Philippines. Besides
It
taking
is.
modern cues from American pop, they also have traditional styles. Instruments include things like gudyapi, kilitang, gimbal, kubing, and togali.
In addition, there are many different styles of dance, but the most famous one considered the national dance is tinikling, a dance done between two pairs of perpendicular bamboo poles
what?
that are clamped together
Yes.
as percussion tools, and the dancers must weave their feet in and out in the spaces before getting hit or tripped.
Now, on a bit of a more objective note, we do
I've never
have to
tried
talk
those.
about some of the controversies.
The Philippines is beautiful, but if you've been keeping up with current events, they do have their fair share of issues that have made headlines. We don't sugarcoat everything here.
Human trafficking, whether into the sex industry, slavery, or organ smuggling, has been a problem in certain areas. And even though anti-trafficking acts have been passed by the government,
Yeah.
enforcement has not always been on par.
The drug trade
That's
has
so
also been a major
sad.
inconvenience for
I
decades,
know.
affecting millions of people in the country. This has led to the new controversial laws instituted by President Duarte, which encouraged the public to seek bounty in exchange for hunting down drug pushers. Many have died in the process.
And finally, you have the Moro conflict, an insurgency in the predominantly Muslim Mindanao region, which sought to take parts of eastern Malaysia and break away through conflict. The fight has been going on for nearly half a century, and now it's just ending at the turn of the
Oh my
21st century.
gosh.
Kind of.
For what it's worth, though, in the Philippines, everyone is family at the end. You don't have to be related to anyone to call someone ate or kuya. There's even a word, bayanihan, which means something like helping one another through community spirit without
Aw.
expecting anything in return. In any case, we gotta finish
That's
off the
nice.
segment with
Yeah.
history,
Austronesians.
tribal kingdoms and sultanates.
This guy came to the islands.
Catholicism comes in.
Lapu-Lapu and Magellan dies in battle.
5 Spanish dudes followed through.
They finally become a colony of Spain.
The galleon trade.
British Philippines.
And then back to Spain. The Treaty of Paris.
Philippine Revolution.
The Spanish-American War.
First Philippine
Yeah,
Republic.
there's so much war.
I know, oh
American
my
occupation.
gosh.
World War II, Japan invades.
American pushes them back.
Finally, Philippine independence.
Ferdinand Marcos
Yay.
turned from president to dictator.
Martial law.
This guy gets killed because he was against the regime.
People Power Revolution in
There's
1996.
so
Growth
much.
from agricultural society
Yeah.
to an industrial one.
And here we are today. And now we finish off with the notable famous people condensed. Some famous people you guys, the Pinoy geography, suggested we mention in this episode include
Lapu-Lapu,
Jose Rizal, these two saints,
Melchora Aquino,
Manuel L. Quezon,
Lacan Dula, Josefa Yanes Escoda,
Do you know a lot of
and
these
Vicente
people?
Lim.
Yeah, they're like
Carlos
heroes.
Romulo.
And all the
Uh,
Miss Universe winners. And there's a
I know
ton of
the one,
Americans
the
with Filipino
second to
or
last
partial
one, in
Filipino
the blue.
descent.
Yeah, you can see there's lots
Oh.
of American Filipinos. Those two get along pretty tight.
We'll explain more on how that happened in... Because of the long history in the Philippines being colonized by two major Western powerhouses, it would make sense that it would have ties with the outside world in many different ways.
For friends, the Philippines is generally close with all the ASEAN nations and does great business with them, particularly Indonesia and Malaysia, their closest neighbors.
The Marshall Islands, Palau, and the federal states of Micronesia are all cousin countries, many of which have Filipino migrants in them, and they all share the same history of being former U.S. territories and U.S.-influenced states.
Of course, Spain will always be in the back of their minds as the former colonizer that they gained much influence from. Although Filipinos are not considered Latino, the Spanish and many Latin Americans kind of see them as like the adopted Asians that totally fit in their family. It's like, come on, you're Catholic, you eat flan, every fifth word you speak is Spanish, you're basically one of us.
Interestingly enough, the relationship with Mexico has historically been always strong. The Philippines was ruled under a Mexico-based viceroyalty of New Spain. The Manila galleons were Spanish trading ships, which for 2.5 centuries linked the Philippines with Mexico across the Pacific Ocean, making 1 or 2 round-trip voyages per year between the ports of Acapulco and Manila. And Mexican traditions were brought in like the Day of the Dead and Champorado.
When it comes to their best friends, however, most
you try that.
Probably say,
What one?
The champorado.
Was it
That was the
chocolate rice?
yeah, chocolate rice.
Oh, yeah, I did try it.
How was
I didn't really like it. It just didn't have much flavor.
You have to put more sugar in it.
Oh, I feel it was just kind of milky. I feel like if I made it by scratch, it would taste better than what you get in a box.
Yeah, it's so better when you made it from the scratch. Like just boil the rice and then you put like it's a cocoa.
Oh, cocoa powder?
Something like that, but there's a different one. And then you just pour it and then make it sticky and then that's it.
Yeah,
and
that
then
sounds pretty simple.
Yeah, and then you put a lot of sugar or milk. Then it would be so much better than the ones in the box.
Yeah, the one in the box. It was like good, but I was like, or it was fine, but I was just like, I don't know how I feel about chocolate and rice together. It was like milky. It wasn't really sweet.
Yeah, because there's not much sugar in it. You have to put more sugar.
I probably needed a lot more sugar.
But
yeah.
Colonial years were a little bit bumpy. Ultimately, the USA and South Korea.
South Korea was one of their closest best friends from the 20th century on. World War II really bonded with them after the Japanese occupation years, and they supported each other diplomatically.
Koreans are the top #1 tourist demographic that visit the Philippines. Koreans kind of admire the fact that even though they were both influenced by the US, Filipinos speak better English, whereas Filipinos practically obsess over Korean products and
that's what I heard.
Us.
That's why we're
For the USA, ties were close ever since they became their colony in 1898. The US also had the largest number of overseas Filipinos at over 4 million, most of whom live on the West Coast states like Hawaii and California. They are one of the oldest Asian partners of the US. They have a mutual defense treaty, and they are the largest export partner and second largest import after China.
American pop culture dominates much of the youth influence. Hollywood studios love filming there, and Gallup polls have shown that the USA is favored on average by over 90% of the people asked, making it one of the most pro-American countries on the planet. And Ken, you take the conclusion.
In conclusion, if you enter a room full of Asians, you definitely know who the Filipinos are. While everyone's so uptight, we're the ones singing karaoke and somersaulting. You could just feel the energy of a Filipino. There's a touch of Latin flavor with American pop undertones. But in the end, no matter what island, you're immediately considered part of the Pinoy family.
Ken, one of my best friends, I love you, man. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. Stay tuned. Poland is coming up next.
Poland.
So yeah, that was. How did you like it?
I thought it was very informative, yet like interesting. I liked it.
That's good. Well, one day we'll go there and you can try all of the things that you've seen in that video.
Yeah.
I can show you around.
That'd be fun. I don't know how I'd feel about the typhoons being there and all the volcanoes.
We won't go to when it's like the typhoon season, like rainy season. We can go during the summer.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But it's so hot.
Well, if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe and comment down below what else we should react to. We love you guys' reactions. And other than that, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.